realize that
peace, love, and light. I am Damri Alma Bay. This is Eden Rose, and Eden Rose is a way of life. I'm here today to do the daily divine reading. Welcome. I will that these messages are received in love and with clarity. I will that you're able to take whatever messages you receive today and move forward. Excuse the noise all around. I will that you're able to take these messages that are offered today and move forward with clarity and in love always. So today, I wasn't planning on doing a reading, and then I was. So there's definitely a message today that's willing to come out. So if you stumble across this reading, likely there's a good reason why. Oof, my goodness, these cards are jumpy today. So, where's that other deck? You're going to have to excuse the noise all around me because there is some construction going on above me, and thus, yeah, you might hear some knocking and banging and things like that every now and again. So, apologies. Where did I put that deck? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so I am going to use these stickers because I love them. I like the clarity that they bring. They've been speaking to me quite clearly lately, so we're going to use them today. Let's go this way. Everything's coming out in twos today, but all three decks are giving me two different options, so I don't know if that has something to do with maybe there's a dual message coming through. I haven't started reading yet, so maybe there's a dual message coming through. Maybe there's opposing energies happening within you. We don't know yet, so let's figure that out. So I'm going to start with the first card that came out, I think. Which is the heart. This is from the Archetypes deck. It is the 31, or the 31st card in the deck. interesting setup, actually. So I'm going to read from the book first, and then I will go from there. Okay, the heart. The home, the center, the throne. It is possible, from an imaginal point of view, to sense the heart as a place. Either we are there, within the realm of expansion and compassion, or we are drifted somewhere else. There is no in-between. It is common for us to leave this archetypal center without realizing it, as the world within the seductive twists and turns offers us a frequent departure. We may even become a stranger to the landscape of the heart, leaving it vacant for long stretches of time. The seat of the heart is often reclaimed by nature, music, dance, and the presence of children or animals. This card encourages us to move past the layers of life's tangles and knots and enter the wild, sacred center of the self. The most precious throne in the galaxy is awaiting your return. So it's interesting because when I started this reading, I decided to put on some sound bowl music in the back, and the chakra that is being focused on in this particular offering is the root chakra. And I was like, okay, root chakra, fine, whatever. I wasn't expecting that, but that's just the one I kind of randomly chose. So I thought, okay, root chakra, I wonder what that's about. And for me, the root chakra is always about grounding. It's always about finding stability. It's always about finding a grounding or steady footing, right? And now that we pull the heart card, right, although it's not the root chakra, right, totally different chakra, but the book speaks about, coming back to yourself, finding, for instance, those roots, right, finding that grounding space within yourself, moving back into the heart-spaced energy. The last reading that I did was very much geared toward individuals who had already had their mind, and especially there was something new coming about in their space or in their experience, and the message was really about making sure that or recognizing that your actions, your intention, where this situation was however the situation kind of panned out in your life, your actions and your thoughts and your intention behind your actions were already aligned with your heart space. And so now, today, we're moving into this new energy where there's a need for return back to the heart space. There's a need for a self-recognition, a recognition of, wait a second, these are my assets, these are my attributes, these are what, this is what I have going for me, this is what I don't have going for me. These are my talents, and really recognizing the self, recognizing the power of self. Well, that's really loud. Recognizing the power of self and the power of being in that central internal space, and then looking forward and looking without. It's about recognizing that, although there are a lot of physical things and spaces in life where we're supposed to, point our attention to on a regular basis, it's really easy to kind of lose sight of who we are in taking action in all of those different places and all those different things, putting on the different hats that we put on, right? So there's a need right now to step back and kind of fuel your own passions, fuel your own heart, recognize what your, not just your goals, but the things that you're great at. And I mean, not that you don't, it's not, I don't get a sense of you don't know these things. It's almost like you need to be reminded that, your basis, your goal, your original intention, your original direction was a particular place or a particular thing. And now as you've been moving through this whole situation, and of course everybody is going to be completely different, right? But as you've been moving through this whole situation, you've in a sense lost track of the reason you began, or the direction that you were originally going in. So there's a need for time spent internally, time spent within the heart space, where you can recalibrate your direction and kind of get to know yourself in this new version of you, and who you are, and how this now relates to your original path. So along with this card came out, the sticker that I pulled was the skull, which I don't usually get from this deck, not very often. And it reminds me of, like, obviously, you know, you have the skulls and bones, and everybody has their own interpretation of those symbols. But for me, and especially with this combination, it's reminding me of stripping down to the bare bones, of stripping down to, you know, the root of things, the cause of things, what is actually moving the parts, what energies and what actions are actually getting the work done. There's this strong sense of like a marionette, like something else or some other thing or energies or people have been perhaps having some sort of, not a stronghold, but some sort of control over your actions where this situation is concerned. And so that's kind of why you're being called to move back into the heart space and recognize the passion, the part of you that was the beginning of this. What aspect of you was the aspect that heard the calling as to why you've gone forward in this direction. Because a lot of your action has now been overtaken by the outside sources, or, you know, when you have an idea and you're moving forward with the idea, and then you gain other people's insight and information from other sources, and then you move forward then with taking action toward this idea. Many times that initial, you know, spark that came about within you, not that it's gone, but it's almost like you've lost sight of it. So it's important to kind of take a step back and check on yourself, move into the heart space, so that you can reestablish or strengthen that spark, because it's not gone. By no means is it gone, but it's definitely been there have been other influences that you have almost taken on to be that's also your cause, but you're being reminded to go back to the original cause. Okay, so the tarot card that came out with this is really feeling like it's in opposition for some reason. It's the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is very much about loss, and or not necessarily loss, but not necessarily recognizing that there is an ebb and a flow, not recognizing that there is a positive and negative aspect to a situation. And in this particular reading, what I feel is that the Five of Cups is here to reiterate the same message, is to help you recognize that there are aspects to this situation that are of benefit to you and of benefit to whatever it is your goal is. But there are other aspects and maybe actions that you've taken that were not quite perfectly aligned with what your initial intention was. And so now you've kind of brought other people's energies and other people's opinions and or intentions into this realm that started off very much yours. And so now you've almost lost sight of your passion, of your cause, of your reasoning as to why it was important to you to take action in this space. You may not have recognized that your original spark, your original fuel, that part of you that started these actions moving forward. It's almost like you forgot how powerful you were. You forgot that there was this amazing aspect of you that is causing for this to be able to become manifest. And the people around you or the people that are also involved in this situation are doing their best to kind of guide you. But the truth is that you're being kind of called away from their guidance. Not that their guidance won't be of any assistance, but you're being called away from their guidance because it's almost like their guidance has been detrimental to your original cause. So it's almost kind of like one of those scenarios where you give birth to an idea, and then as you gather the different people and energies that are going to assist you in bringing forth this idea and having it become manifest, you start to take the advice from those people who have, their ideas based on what you've told them and how you've included them. And then rather than it just being your idea, it now becomes everyone's idea. It's now our baby, it's now our ship moving forward. And although that information and the lessons that you're learning and the information you're receiving from these outside sources is great, you're truly missing your original spark. And that's what this message is clearly stating today. Now, like I said, there's 2 sets of cards today, so I don't know how they connect yet because I haven't started to read the other set. And I feel like there's going to be some sort of correlation between the 2 readings, but they are very, very different readings. So I'm going to do my best to figure it all out as I go. Like, I don't really see the end result. I'm just moving through with how I feel in the moment. So we'll see. The other side of things is that, so you have, the first sticker is the rainbow. And for me, this sticker, it's not a card, but I use these to kind of understand a little bit more of the energy and how it feels. It's kind of like an emotional triggering type of aspect for me in these readings. It's not for you, it's for me. And so what I feel from the rainbow is that there is an all-encompassing energy, meaning there's something that you were hoping was going to be, this elaborate, beautiful outcome that is beneficial for everyone and beneficial to you. And so the intention that you have is for well-being and prosperity for yourself and for everybody involved. And the reason why you kind of are in that space where you're wanting everyone to progress and grow from this experience is because internally you have been being pushed forward by the feminine aspect within you. Now, why I say that is because the archetypal card that came out with this half of the reading is the mother. Okay, we all understand the mother energy. What I'm receiving from here is just that this is an energy that's outside of you. This is an energy that is influencing you. This is an energy that is helping to guide you so that you can find this space internally for yourself, this heart space, right? You're being asked to not look at the external sources and to only look at the internal sources. And this energy, this mothering energy, the energy of oneness, is asking you to recognize that in yourself, because truly the only reason why anybody has ever stepped into this experience with you is because you've called forth for them. You've asked in some way for the divine to deliver to you people and information that you need in order to achieve this goal. And so naturally the universe offered you all of these things. It's coming from you. But rather than recognizing that it's all coming from you, you've been recognizing it as, oh, okay, well, X friend or X, intellect has this much to say about this. And so I'm going to go in this route because they're really righteous and they know what they're talking about. And so I'm going to follow through with their idea, as opposed to recognizing it as, I asked for information from the divine delivered to me an individual who has that information, and that individual is not different from me, that is me. And so it's just a very slight perspective shift to remember that all of this comes forth from within you. That message is even more reiterated in the sixth card that was pulled in, and that's the Princess of Cups. In this particular deck, I like to read the Princess of Cups based on the picture and not on my understanding of the card, because the picture for me speaks so much more clearly than the actual placement of the card itself. So this Princess of Cups is an incredible being. This to me speaks of the student of the Hierophant, the student of the magician, the student of the person who's actively doing the alchemy, and obviously the student of the let's say a student and professor, right? The professor has the information, the student receives the information from the professor, and that student is then, filled with whatever essence that the professor has to offer. So this professor, or the teacher in this case, is the mother energy, and you are the student as the Princess of Cups. And I'm laughing internally because just because of the synchronicities. Sometimes when I read, I don't quite understand what's happening until I get there, and so there's a bit of a message from me. So excuse my own emotional interaction with the reading. But anyhow, the mother energy and this Princess of Cups relationship is that you are meant to gain a more clear and concise understanding of that voice. There's a strong voice and there's a strong inclination for you to follow that voice, but truthfully it's been muffled and muted by the people around you and or the experiences around you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific person. This is going to resonate for everyone in different ways, right? But the energies around you have muted this calling, this conversation, constant interaction between you and the feminine aspect within you. I'm also receiving a very strong calling toward self-care, toward recognizing your emotional state right now and supporting yourself emotionally through whatever this experience is. It's going to be essential that you spend some internal space and time with just you, without any sound, without any color, without any vision, without any intention in your meditation, for instance. This is truly calling for complete internal silence and recognition of your power. And the only way you're going to be able to really step fully into that recognition is to take some time to truly sit in silence and darkness. The Princess of Cups is also offering a message of recognizing what you've already done, recognizing the work and the effort that's already put in. And although there might not seem like there's fruition that's actually become manifest, since you've put in all of this work, there's definitely I call it like the clock of destiny. The ethers are moving, and there's so much change that's needed in order to achieve this goal, for lack of a better word, that it's going to be very hard to actually see the shifts and changes as it comes about, because there is so much physically, on a physical aspect, that needs to shift and change, right? Obviously that's through vibration, but there's so much that needs to shift and change that it's going to be very difficult to actually see those shifts and changes as they occur. So you're being asked to kind of have faith, and the faith that you need to have is in yourself. It's not about, speaking to the right person, getting the right energy, or getting the right information, or learning the right things anymore. You've already established that relationship with the universe where you are now being offered what it is that you need at every step of the way, right? When you need the message arises. The mother, the feminine aspect, is calling for you to have a more emotionally secure and grounded relationship with yourself. And that grounded relationship with yourself is going to make sure and ensure that all of these things that you're trying to fruit are going to come forth within the frequency that you want it to come forth in. So, for instance, you can manifest wealth, but are you manifesting wealth based on greed, or are you manifesting wealth based on your will to offer and give and serve others, right? You can manifest wealth both ways, and many people do all the time. But the point here is to recognize the why. And you're being asked to step backward within yourself and quite literally to do some meditation within the heart. The heart, like the book said in the beginning, is a physical place. If you can imagine having your consciousness being the seat of your consciousness, for instance, within the pineal, and intentionally moving that consciousness down through, the bottom half of the brain, down the spinal cord, down into the chest cavity, and then literally moving forward into the heart space. And that's a specific meditation that I've been taught myself, but I don't believe that you need training in order to do it, because it was my experience that it happened very naturally, and I didn't really need any of the extra learnings as a result of it just being something that came about naturally for me. And I have a feeling that most people are in that route, especially those who are aligned with this reading. So I'm not going to go into the intricacies of that meditation, but I will say that it's definitely possible for you to intentionally move your consciousness down into that space, and then with your intention, move into the heart. And a lot of times, visually, what you'll see when you move into the heart is like a collection of energy. It could be colorful, it could be red, it could be blue, it could be green. For me, usually if I'm in the pineal, I see green, and if I'm in the heart, I see blue. But you can, come into recognizing that space within yourself as you practice this type of meditation. And spending more time within this heart space is going to connect you directly with whatever messages that the feminine aspect is trying to offer you on a regular basis. There's more that you need to absorb here. And the way in which to do that is to put yourself in complete silence and put yourself in complete darkness, so that you can re-enter the womb, so to speak, so that you can reinsert yourself into that space and allow for the atoms in your body, the cells within your physical makeup, to actually absorb the information. It might not be something that is linear. It might not be something that is, language. Everyone's message is different, right? That's why it's important to go into this space spiritually, so that it's not necessarily your brain that's doing the absorbing. You've absorbed everything that the brain is in the mind is capable of absorbing. You've attracted all of the people. You've attracted all of the physical experience that you need now for this scenario. It's time now to reinsert yourself back into the womb, so that you can get a stronger connection and grounding, so that what it is you manifest stays in alignment with the energies that you intended for them to stay in alignment at the beginning. That was a lot, and I did not expect all of that in this reading, but it's pretty profound, because the feminine aspect, although many times I get a reading that has more to do with creation, this has nothing to do with creation at all. This has to do with you having an emotional cocoon, an emotional support that comes from within you, that's not from without. And since I started reading, I've been sweating. It's a really, really, really intense and important message. So I will that you're able to receive these messages with love and in clarity, and I will that you're able to take them forward and use them in ways that allows for you to experience expansion. I love you all very much. I'm going to leave it there. Peace, love, light, Islam.